Hi, Kate. Welcome to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. I'm really excited for us to dive into today's topic. Again, it's a conversation we haven't had really with anybody yet on this podcast, and I think you're going to be a wealth of knowledge. So I'm excited to get started. What I would love for you to do first is kind of share with our listeners what you're currently doing. You're an IHP level 2. What are you currently doing in kind of the health and wellness space? It's quite a bit, but give us a little overview as to kind of where you're at, and then we'll back it up just a little bit and talk about how you got started.
Okay, absolutely. So I have a lot going on. Like you said, I'm an IHP level 2, but I've kind of had a lifetime of business experience running businesses and, big family business. And within the last couple of years, I partnered with an agency and just a couple of amazing people to bring health and wellness to the world at a very large scale. So what we do, we have an agency and we work with pretty big influencers in the health and wellness space, in sports, in, the celebrity world to bring IHP education and wellness knowledge to their communities. So what we do is we work with them one-on-one, and I work with them as their IHP coach, and I help take them through the protocols, and we document it, and we then share that with their community. We also utilize their distribution channels, which are their newsletters, their social platforms, things like that, to share and educate their audiences at very, very large scale. So we're reaching millions of people a day. And we're also promoting products that can change people's lives. So that's kind of one very quick overview of one aspect of what I do is I work with influencers to bring wellness to their large communities. We also are launching wellness brands. So for instance, and communities. So we just launched a kids wellness brand called Little Diamond. That is a kids powder that tastes delicious and is a cell and immune support. And it's full of broccoli sprout and lots of fun stuff. We also are launching a new wellness brand that's kind of multifaceted that focuses on root cause, and we're building a community to tie in with that because community is really important in the digital world right now and really helping people. So I used to work with people one-on-one in a coaching, a normal coaching platform. And I had my own website and I had social media. I had all these different things built around my own personal brand. And what I realized was that the same time that I was using to help one person, I could use to help millions of people. So in the last 2 years, I've transitioned to focusing on the agency and focusing on building wellness brands and products that can be seeded with our influencers to reach tens of millions of people a day and change that many lives every single day. And we're growing very fast because this is pretty much everyone out there wants to get healthy in some way. And for instance, we work with one of the biggest skateboarders in history. And, he's broken every bone in his body and, he might look really healthy, but things hurt. And, so we're kind of there on the back end and we're helping take him on his health journey, and he's going to be sharing it with his community. So those are kind of two of the big picture projects that I'm working on right now. And, we're growing very quickly. So it's very, very exciting. But luckily, I'm able to help millions of people a week improve their lives and their health.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds so much like, what's in line with Dr. Cabral's mission, right? Like we were kind of talking about at the beginning, you can, sit one-on-one with a client, but like that's only one person that you've reached in that, 1 hour window versus if you're doing something at scale, like you said, you're reaching millions a day. And that's really when it comes to health and wellness, getting the message to the masses is really what's going to change the trajectory of how people really view health and wellness, because there's a huge conventional view of what things look like and who you should trust in this world. And then there's our, mission and our view. And I think the more that gets out, the better off this place will be. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting with the influencer world because I work with one health and wellness influencer who gets hundreds of messages a day, asking for help. I've got Lyme, I've got mold, I've got all these crazy things happening, and I don't trust any doctors I've been to, but I trust you. What do I do? And, what we're doing is we have started recommending functional testing and IHP coaching to every one of those people. We've set up what we call a frequently asked question funnel, so people can submit health and wellness questions, and we don't answer them because we legally aren't able to in a lot of situations. But what we can do is we can promote IHPs, we can promote functional testing. We're all about the root cause and finding and eliminating the root cause for people. So all these hundreds of people we're getting messages from a day are now funneling into IHP. Mm-hmm. And that's really exciting for me because I believe so much in Dr. Cabral and all the education he's providing, as well as Equilife products. So being able to educate people more on where they can go, because even, they see conventional doctors, they see functional doctors, there's so many pieces missing. And I believe so thoroughly in IHPs and what we are capable of and how much we're capable of helping, that being able to funnel people to IHPs is a really big part of my mission.
Yes. Okay. So to that point, that our passion usually doesn't just come out of nowhere. The passion for kind of what it sounds like you have and the belief in Dr. Cabral and his products. How did that all start? Where did you kind of find IHP? What position were you at when you kind of came across it all? If you tell us a little bit about your backstory, and then we'll get into all the other amazing information that you have to share.
Absolutely. So I've had a very interesting health journey. It started at a very young age, and I'm mid 30s right now. And up until I was late 20s, I was very sick. I had Lyme disease, I had mold, I had parasites. I went through everything you can imagine. I graduated high school on an exercise bike because I couldn't get oxygen to my brain. So I'd read 4 hours a day on an exercise bike to be able to graduate. And then I'd lose complete ability to walk, and I would be numb from the hips down. And, I started to find products slowly, like PEMF therapy changed my life. Saunas changed my life. But at the same time, if I wasn't sweating every single day, I felt like I was going to die. I felt so toxic. I had severe brain fog, migraine headaches, 24 hours a day for years and years on end. I was bedridden. It was horrific life. And it started at age 8 and didn't really slow down until my, mid 20s. And that's when I started to, I've been self-educating my whole life. I'm one of those, just like Dr. Cabral, who will read every book I can find. I will take every online course I can find to try and fill in little gaps. And a few years ago, I started to go through functional medicine testing and protocols and went through full parasite cleansing. And then I actually ended up meeting with an IHP for skin issues before I even found Dr. Cabral. And I was very impressed by the type of knowledge she had, and the fact that even though I'd read hundreds of books, there were some things that I didn't know that she taught me. And I looked at, what her certification was, and I started diving into it. And I immediately, took IHP 1 and 2 and realized that, well, yes, there was a lot that I had learned over my 25 years of journey, but also that there was so much more, and that everything was about finding the root cause. And it has been my whole life, but I was just missing a couple. And so it really helped fill in the gaps of my knowledge. And I have other certifications, sports nutrition and holistic nutrition and fun things like that. But this IHP is so far beyond that. And my confidence in my knowledge and how I'm able to help people is sky high, which is why I was confident enough to be able to take this knowledge and bring it to people, and not afraid to put it in front of millions of people a week. And so I started going through that. I did a 21-day detox. I've done the SIBO protocol, the mold protocol, pretty much all of Dr. Cabral's protocols. I've been on the DNS shake every day, and I absolutely love it. To me, like I would drink 2 smoothies a day if I could. It's absolutely delicious. And I've turned everyone I know onto it. And I've also, when I started all this myself, I started putting all of my clients through it, and they were all seeing absolutely exceptional results. From horrible health issues to almost complete recovery pretty quickly. And so I recognized that these products and these principles were what the world needed. and what I wished I had known when I was in high school and had to drop out of high school. And, I realized that, and this happened maybe 5-10 years ago when 5 years ago-ish, when my family sold our family business that I'd been in for my entire life. I was born into an incredible, wonderful business in the sports world. And when we sold that, I realized, I have so much knowledge that I should be sharing, because if I can prevent even one person from suffering the way that I suffered my entire life, then everything I do is worth it. And so bringing this certification and bringing all this extra knowledge to where I can talk to somebody for 10, 20 minutes and I can already say, okay, I understand where the problem is. You need to do this, this, and this, and you will get 50% better, even without doing, a lot of other things. And just small lifestyle changes could make the world of difference for you. So Dr. Cabral's education and protocols have completely changed my life, have changed the lives of everyone that I've, put on them. And it's now my mission in life. And luckily, the mission of the partners I have in our agency, which is called Initial Friends, and in all of our new brands, we all have the same mission, and it's truly to heal the world. And I really I'm so thrilled to be able to come together with Dr. Cabral on that as well, because he's offered to work with us on content creation and going live with us with some of our influencers, which I'm really excited about. And so, combining all of this and our missions being the same is just an incredible feeling.
Yes. Yeah. And it's, a force, right? Like that is much of a force that you have behind the engine, right? If you have all this passion, all these people that believe in one thing so strongly. There's a meme that I think I had seen going around that like, it shows like this fish and it's a bunch of little fish all forming an even bigger fish. Have you ever seen this? Like it's this tiny little fish that like, they're all going to like eat this fish that looks bigger than the small ones, but the small ones combined are, anyways. So it's, when you put that much drive and power behind a passion and a purpose and all of that, it's kind of unstoppable in a way. I would love for us to shift a little bit of focus because you kind of operate at this, grander level here, but I think you have a ton of knowledge that some of our IHPs, and maybe if they're just starting out and they're like, oh, wow, that sounds amazing, but like, I don't even know where to start with any of that. Some things that they could take as like tangible takeaways based on, it sounds like you're kind of, there's this expertise around taking your IHP certification and also your ability to like hack the digital world that really, making them come together allows IHPs to monetize in a really effective way or just reach more people or be of service. So could you touch a little bit upon kind of your biggest passions in that sense?
Absolutely. And I think one of the most important things for all new IHPs or current IHPs to understand is that there's unlimited capacity for you to monetize your education. It's not just, you're not narrowed down to just doing one-on-one coaching or doing group coaching or, starting a community and doing group detoxes. The digital world is really incredible and it's going so fast and new programs are coming out every day. There's literally unlimited abilities for you to monetize your education and your experience. And that's what people want it. What's happened the last couple of years with what's happening in the world is obviously a lot has shifted and a lot of people are moving more toward natural health and wellness. And it's been incredible because people are more open to it right now. And so, yes, I started with one-on-one coaching. And like I mentioned, I really enjoyed that. I loved being able to help people and work with them one-on-one. But when I realized that I could take my entire life of business knowledge, as well as the 85 online courses I watched in the first year of COVID, and the something like 40 or 50 books I read on digital optimization. And I could combine that knowledge with my IHP education and lifetime of experience with health issues. It pretty much opened up unlimited opportunities. So, if you can consider things like affiliate marketing, you could have, digital back-end funnels, you could have, websites, landing pages. You could, all different platforms are all amazing for different reasons. And so I had my own platform. I had fully built out websites. I had funnels. I had email nurtures. I had free downloads to capture emails. I had pretty much everything you could imagine. And like I said, I've kind of put that on hold, but there's so many amazing things you can do. And another interesting thing to consider is that there are going to be more and more companies out there that are looking for people with your type of knowledge to create content. Content creation is a massive, unlimited, industry and job that you could go after. There's health and wellness influencers that a lot of them don't create all their own content, and they need someone behind them to back them up. They don't want to have to do all the research to put up one post where it's already in your brain, and you can put that on a post in 20 minutes where maybe it takes them 2 hours, and those 2 hours would be much better spent doing something else. So there are lots of job opportunities, not just working for yourself, but also working with other people. And it's a very valuable skill that we have because, there are very few other certifications, if any, that have the level of knowledge that we have. And that's what the world needs right now. We all understand that's what the world needs. They need root cause healing. And so you can create your own digital agency. You can start offering social media services to people, and you can approach acupuncture clinics. You can approach naturopaths. You can approach anybody because every single one of them wants the ability to make money on top of their normal practice. Every single one. They want to make money while they sleep. It's, the world, it's a gig economy right now, and people want to find side hustles. They want to find ways to generate reciprocal income that they don't have to work for, to make $20 an hour. They want, to make $50 a night while they're sleeping. And with our education, we can create digital assets. Digital assets are some of the most valuable things you could possibly do. You could spend one day creating a digital asset and sell it for $7 and make $1 million a year on it if you know how to market. So if you, as an IHP, decide, I want to approach the digital world and I want to attack and create a business for myself that reaches and helps a lot of people, create some funnels, create some digital assets, create an online course, create, an affiliate platform, create an audience that on one platform. That's another really important thing, is never try and focus on every platform. They all are completely different. The content that people want to consume on each platform are completely different. And you will never grow fast if you try and focus on all of them. If you focus on one, let's just use Instagram for an example, and you master Instagram, you take courses, you learn how to optimize every single step, and your link in your bio goes to somewhere that leads to, a back-end funnel that sells, products or sells detoxes on autopilot, you're going to start making money while you sleep. And then your job becomes about creating content and driving traffic to your landing pages and funnels. And so you can create this entire web of offerings. And there's a really interesting kind of phrase. It's called value ladder. Every business, every single business in the world should have a value ladder. So that means you don't just offer one thing. You offer multiple things that all help your same customer get from where they are now to where they want to be. So let's say you offer one-on-one coaching. Okay, that's wonderful. But do you also offer a package? Do you offer an online course to go along with that? Do you offer, a meal plan? Every single one of those things is a different step in your value ladder, and it's something else that you can sell and you can monetize. And if they're evergreen assets, which means an asset that you make once and you can use it the rest of your life, it's a very little time commitment, but it can literally generate revenue every day for the rest of your life. And then you take a 2-hour Facebook ad course and you master Facebook ads and you figure out how to promote that. And if you know how to use Facebook ads, you can make money from that $7 course for the rest of your life. So the digital world is literally unlimited. And with our education, we have an unlimited source of knowledge that we can put out either for free or that you can sell, or a mix of both. So I believe in providing value upfront, providing free content, and building that community around giving. And so that's another interesting thing of what we're doing is we're actually creating a nonprofit as well, because in the last 3 months, we've given away 22 infrared saunas, something like 5 or 6 EMF devices, hundreds of small wellness packages that we mail out to our community. And so we are going to be giving on a much larger scale. And so when you provide your knowledge for free, you create a community that's committed to you and will listen to you. If you start from day one and you're selling from day one, people aren't going to believe you. You're not going to come across as authentic. And that's the biggest thing right now is being authentic, being vulnerable. Your biggest asset in your business is your vulnerability, being vulnerable on social and being willing to say, I struggled so much with this and I'm not perfect. Yes, I'm an IHP, but doesn't mean I don't eat, Doritos once a week. It's like people want to connect with a real human being, and they will connect with you. And then you'll have lifetime clients and people who will purchase anything that you put out there. Every year you could come out with a new digital asset that maybe is $7, maybe is $500. But that community that you built through true authenticity and vulnerability and sharing your journey is absolutely priceless, and it'll slowly grow. So people always ask me, because I work with such large influencers, well, what if I only have 200 people following me? And this is a really interesting thing that is really important to know is you can make money with 200 followers. You can make money with 500 followers if they're real followers. Some people with 2 million followers make almost no money because they're not following them for the right reason. Or, you'd be amazed how many people purchase followers. Mm-hmm. So if you have a real community that you've built, even if there's only 200 people in it, you could make a lot of money off of that with some digital funnels. And as you slowly grow, people are going to start recommending you because you're not charging for stuff. You're giving away so much for free that people are going to start recommending to you, and your community will grow. And, some of the most, the influencers that are the most able to monetize and make the most money have smaller audiences because they connect so much one-on-one that people feel the real connection. And that's absolutely priceless nowadays. So
yes,
it was a quick overview. I could go on for hours, as you can tell.
No, it's so great. And I think the biggest takeaway is that authenticity, right? I feel like most people can go on Instagram and it can either be like the most fulfilling, 20 minutes of swiping, or it could be, that you're swiping and just looking at a bunch of highlight reels and a bunch of perfection and you just leave feeling worse about yourself. Right. And I think as human beings, never before have we wanted such like true, authentic connection as we do now. And so I think the vulnerability piece is huge. I recently was following someone who she was like, I'm done using like those little swipe over filters. She's like, I'm just going to show you the bags under my eyes. And like, I'm like, I like you. And it's true because like nobody wants to feel like they're just like, being measured against perfection. Right. And the community aspect of it, like you can almost feel because I am a part of some of these, wellness Instagram communities, you can feel just the presence of people that you don't even know. Like, it's just everybody has this same like belief and the same drive. And I think because people are working from home and everything has been so digitized and we have, I think, less human connection than we ever have before, it can be a huge way to reach it authentically, even though it's still on a social media platform. You just have to present it properly. And I think that was, your entire point, but I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I'm curious about the like 200 followers. So like give a little bit of information as far as, so the whole funnel, it would be somebody like that creates like a click on link and then their clients are brought to another link where you said that they would sell supplements, or it would be like a, free giveaway or something like that. And if somebody was like, well, when do I start making, good, quote unquote, good enough money, the following grows, right? And then the funnel gets more people. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, there are lots of different layers to funnels. And this is something I'm super passionate about. And,
which is why I asked, because I could tell.
There's a front end funnel, there's a back end funnel, and there's many, many different pieces to each. And you can create funnels that connect in, 50 different ways. And so what I focus on is really maximizing every single step of the funnel, because for instance, you go to a normal website, your conversion rate might be 1-2%, maybe 3 is like really, really good. But if you can optimize it, you can be at a 7, 8, 9% conversion rate, and that doubles or triples your business. And so when we're talking about funnels, you really have to have the big game plan in mind first. You have to know what are the pieces of my value ladder that I'm able to offer. So let's say you're just starting and you offer one-on-one coaching, and you're putting together a 3-month program, and you've got one digital asset that you sell, and then you've got supplements that you recommend. So technically you have 4 steps of your value ladder. So the most valuable asset that any company can have is an email list or an SMS list. So let's say, you look at some of the biggest business purchases in history. You've got the $1 billion purchases of AT&T and things like that. They're not buying that. What they're buying is their customer list. So your email list is absolutely essential. So from day one, you want to be collecting emails. It's really important. You've got this following, you got 200 people, 500 people follow you on social media. But again, Instagram could be gone tomorrow. Poof, just gone. And that following you worked so hard to build is totally gone. It's what we call borrowed traffic. All social platforms are borrowed traffic. You're borrowing traffic from the platform themselves. What you want to focus on is owned traffic. Distribution channels that you personally own, that no one can take away from you, that if the whole digital world fell apart tomorrow, you would still own that traffic. And that is an email list and an SMS list. And so the beginning of any funnel is getting emails, because an email allows you to communicate with people at a much more intimate level. You're getting access to their inbox, and that's a privilege. You are getting access. And so you don't want to waste their time either. You want every newsletter and email you send to be full of value, but also to tell your story, because the key to a funnel is, having email nurtures and having kind of a web of how things connect. And that's what I have so much fun with, is how everything connects, and how, someone opts into your newsletter list because you gave them a free download, which is one of the easiest things you can do. Is you can create a download, for instance, 10 ways to improve gut health, and just a super simple PDF. And on that, you've got your contact information, you've got whatever you want your call to action to be. And you put that behind an email door. And that email door, someone has to sign up for your email. And when they do that, you get an automated email saying, "Thank you so much. Welcome to my community. Here's the digital, asset you requested. And, let me know if you have questions." And then, the next day, and then the day after, you start to wrap a story around it and start to introduce yourself. Because if someone signs up and they've never heard of you, let's say some random person finds you on Instagram, they go to your link, they want to download your download. They have no idea who you are in most situations, no idea. And your job is to build that relationship, because after something like 2 weeks, they've completely forgotten who you are, completely. But if you tell your story and you create this persona in the first week through email nurtures, and let's say you did the 10 ways to improve your gut health, you can then wrap in your story of why you know these things, why gut health is a big deal to you, and tell your personal story. Tell some snippets about your current life. Do you have a dog? Are you married? Do you have kids? Welcome them into your community, and then start sharing educational content that provides them value, because you will get people to opt out. Some people just opt in just to get the freebie, but then you've got a lot of people who will stay with you because they get excited about who you are as a person. And I knew that would happen. Every time someone walks by, they get excited about who you are as a person, and they will stay. And then after maybe a week, they'll buy whatever that next step was on your value ladder. And so someone who's bought something from you, even once, if they purchase a $1 product from you, they're something like 10 times more likely to purchase something else from you in the future. So getting in with a free or really inexpensive item could 10x your revenue long-term, but it's also about creating the relationship, because if you look at a really big statistic in the e-com world is lifetime customer value. It may take you an hour of creating digital content to gather that one email, but that one email, if you nurture it correctly, could turn into $10,000 in the next 5 years. So every single customer, client email you're working on building the lifetime value by providing free content so that they feel that when you put out something that you're trying to make money on, a $7 purchase, whatever, they're much more willing to give you that money than someone that hasn't been giving you free content. So, I think that's a big part of what Dr. Cabral does is he puts out unbelievable amounts of free content, amazing education, and just so much wonderful stuff. And he doesn't charge for it, which is incredible. And so he is front of mind for everyone who listens to his podcast. So, he's going to get traffic, and that's what funnels rely on is traffic. He's going to get unlimited traffic from his podcast because they're evergreen. So people will still go back and listen to his first podcast even now. And that one piece of content that took him an hour or half an hour to create is going to generate him and companies and anybody who does that revenue for the rest of their lives. So focusing on evergreen content. And that's the wonderful thing about funnels is that you create your welcome series on your newsletter and you only have to do it once. Yeah, you can update it a little. You can tweak it here and there every few months for whatever new is happening in your life or whatever new product you have. But technically it's an evergreen asset. Same with your digital downloads. Like they're not going to change a lot. And so you do it once and it's done. And that's what I've built my life around now is focusing on evergreen creation and digital assets, because there's so many interesting things in the digital world. NFTs, the NFT world is massive, and figuring out, creative ways to work with the new digital atmosphere.
Okay. So to go back to what we were talking a little bit about at the beginning, you had mentioned that, there's other ways, right, for coaches to just make money or to reach more people than just doing one-on-one coaching. And so I'm curious for you to elaborate just a little bit on that and kind of what you meant in regards to kind of like you had mentioned they could work with, acupuncturists and naturopaths and like those types of things. But do you have a little bit more of like a, specific that you would want to talk about?
Yeah. So I think honestly, it's unlimited in the ways that you can monetize your education. And I'm going to use an example of one of my new companies. We are creating a digital or a wellness brand that we believe is going to take over the world because we're focusing on, root causes and foundational support and the best technology in the world for healing. But we're hiring IHPs. It's my view that I want IHPs to be running our content creation. I want them to be the bloggers. I want them to be helping our communities and answering questions in our communities. I believe that there are so many different pieces of businesses that IHPs could be very valuable for. So, content creation is a massive one. Every wellness company out there, the naturopaths, everybody is looking for ways to utilize their clientele or to utilize their social following. And there's just this huge web of opportunities, a YouTube channel, whatever you want to do. But if you've got the education and you can write or you can answer questions or things like that, there's almost unlimited possibilities. You could go approach a gym. But again, in my situation, we're launching a new community, a wellness community that's fully encompassing. We're going to go through detoxes and parasite protocols and cold plunge challenges and all these things. And we're going to offer kind of community support, but also one-on-one support and have an FAQ section where people can submit questions and have IHPs answer them. And so there's and we're just one. And I know that we're trying to create something really unique and powerful, but more of these are going to be coming up. And so I think, but also creating your own set of very specialized skills outside of being an IHP. If you're not interested, or maybe you are, but if you're not interested in being a one-on-one coach every day, 8 hours a day, and doing that and creating your own, online coaching business, which is an incredible business. And there's so much potential there. But if you have a background in business like I did, or in sales, or whatever it might be, you can combine those skills and, you could become the head of wellness at a big corporation. Almost every big corporation I know of now has a health and wellness, person who runs challenges within their company. And, so I really think like it's truly unlimited. And if you've got different skill sets, then figuring out how to combine them is going to be hugely valuable, but also developing your skills. If you decide, yes, I want to help other wellness influencers or other naturopaths or clinics or gyms, I want to help them and their clientele, then go take an online course. There are hundreds of free courses out there. And I've taken free ones. I've taken very, very expensive ones. But you can master and specialize in one skill and combine it with your IHP to create a very valuable skill set for hundreds and hundreds of companies and brands out there. And there's unlimited supplement companies you could work for. There's, protein powder companies. There's, and they all need our type of education. A lot of them are run by a normal Western medicine doctor and a business team or a scientist, but they don't understand how it all connects and how one thing impacts another. And I think that's something that IHPs understand so much better than almost anyone else, is how everything connects, and every single lifestyle piece can impact something else. And so, for instance, I've worked with a lot of different supplement companies with my current partners, and I have issues with a lot of them. And so we've stopped promoting them because they, their product has way too much of certain things, or the ingredients aren't, the best option, or it's got the wrong type of B vitamins in it. And so everyone with MTHFR is going to react to it, so you just have to find your lane and decide what you actually want to spend your days doing. Is it one-on-one, or is it using your knowledge to reach people and help people from the back end? That's the other thing, is I realized a long time ago that I don't want to personally be an influencer. I don't want to spend all day choosing photos and writing content for my own personal brand. I don't want to be the face of big brands. I know that I will be much happier as a human being and able to manage more if I am on the back end, making sure this all happens and directing it. And so, yeah, it's really just combining your skills. And a lot of you have stories like mine. You've had health issues, you've gone through your own journey. But what were you doing while you were doing that? Were you a salesperson? Were you a director, whatever? And just figuring out how to combine that is, what I would highly suggest. And then improving on those skills. Most online courses are only 2 to 3 hours long, and you could be a master of something. And just specializing and building out your skill set will be so valuable to absolutely anyone you talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's such great information. Where can our listeners kind of find more, either contact you or, Instagram or whatever kind of contacts you want to share with our listeners if they're listening and, if they wanted to connect further?
Yeah. So my Instagram handle is Root Cause Kate. And that's the same on Facebook and Twitter. I respond to my Instagram messages. That's usually a good way to contact me. My new wellness community is going to be called Access Your Rise. And that's where, we're going to have, all of our IHPs working, and where I'll be doing lives and fun things like that. My website is also rootcausekate.com. And yeah, you're welcome to reach out to me at any time. I don't tend to use LinkedIn much or Facebook, but Instagram is where I'm a lot more active. So that would be the best place.
That's great. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I think this was invaluable information for our listeners, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I appreciate it as well.
Thanks, Kate.
Yeah.